the quiet man of Staryi Lyman. The first thing you'd notice about Mykhailo Vronsky wasn't the limp in his right leg or the way he avoided crowds. It was the blue ceramic cup he always carried, chipped, faded, but clean. Not for drinking. Just carried. Always in his hand. He lived alone, in a half-burned house on the edge of Staryi Lyman, where the roads ended and the wires drooped like dead veins. His neighbors had left long ago. Those who remained didn't knock. Not out of fear. Out of respect. Because Mykhailo hadn't spoken to anyone since his wife disappeared on a cold morning in March 2022. And because, according to rumor, he still set the table for two every night. There was barely anything left inside the house. One chair. One cracked window. A table with two plates. And the blue cup. At 6 o'clock sharp, Mykhailo would set it down in front of the second plate, pour in boiled water from the samovar, and sit in silence. Waiting. Listening. To what? No one knew. But he did it every single evening. His wife, Halina, had been a schoolteacher. Kind. Stern. The kind of woman who still made borscht even when the gas was out. She'd gone to deliver a lesson book to a student across the village the day everything went dark. Shells fell. Phones died. Borders shifted. Halina never returned. No body. No grave. Just a scarf, once found in the trees. Mykhailo searched for weeks. And then, he stopped speaking. But he stayed. Not out of denial. Out of something stronger, unfinished conversation. One day, as cold wind rolled in from the north, Mykhailo found a torn envelope in his shed. Old stamp. Ukrainian writing. Postmarked Kramatorsk, 6 months after the occupation began. Inside, a single page, unsigned. They took her, yes. But she was not silent. She spoke your name again and again. And when they told her to forget, she held up a blue cup and said, "He remembers. He always will." I don't know who she was to you. But I think she was braver than all of us. His hands trembled. He read the letter again. Then, for the first time in over a year, he said her name out loud. Halina. Part 2, The Voice Under the Floorboards. That night, Mykhailo did not pour water into the blue cup. He sat at the table, the letter in his hand, and stared at the cracked wallpaper. His mouth dry. His mind racing. She had spoken. Someone heard her. Someone risked their life to write him that letter. He lit a candle and went down into the cellar, the one place no patrols ever searched. Behind a pile of firewood, beneath a tarp, he pulled out an old wooden box. Inside it, a black and white wedding photo. 2 Soviet passports. A USB stick taped inside a hollowed-out chess piece. He stared at the USB, then whispered, "If this kills me, let it be her voice that does it." There was only one working computer in Staryi Lyman. At the back of the shuttered cafe, where a quiet woman named Svetlana sometimes let trusted locals check messages. Mykhailo entered with his blue cup in one hand, the chess piece in the other. Svetlana looked up. Eyes wide. He hadn't spoken to her in 18 months. "I need 5 minutes," he said. She said nothing. Just pulled the curtains closed. He plugged in the USB. One file. No name. No date. Just a title, for_him.wave. He clicked. And the room filled with static, then breathing, then a voice. "Mykhailo. If this ever reaches you. I'm not angry. I know you stayed. You always said the house wouldn't stand without one of us inside it." It was Halina. Older. Cracked with exhaustion. But hers. "They moved us through basements, blindfolded. I taught the children numbers just to keep them from crying. One day, a man asked if I wanted to send a message home. He said he used to be a journalist. I said only this. He will know I'm alive, as long as the cup stays blue. Because I knew you'd keep it. You'd stubborn, silent, sweet man. She laughed once. A sharp, lovely sound. Tell Danilo I forgive him. And if you ever see our house again, plant something in the yard. Not to remember me, but to remind yourself you are still here. Then silence. Then a final breath. I love you to the marrow of this earth. Mykhailo didn't cry. He just walked outside. And for the first time since the war began, he smashed the cup on the ground. Part 3: The Flower in the Frost. The next morning, Svetlana found the shards of the cup and left them on his doorstep. Inside, Mykhailo was packing. One small bag. The letter. The USB. The photo. And a tin can of sunflower seeds, the ones Helena had saved for next spring. But spring had never come. A boy came running that afternoon. There's a way out. Through the forest. The journalist woman, she's coming back. Coming here? Mykhailo asked. She wants to find the people who still remember voices. He didn't hesitate. Before leaving, he went to the backyard. Dug a hole with his hands. Dropped in a seed. She told me to plant something. The boy asked, will it grow? Not for me. Maybe for someone else. 12 of them left at dusk. No luggage. Just names in their heads. As they crossed the train tracks, Mykhailo turned once. His house stood in silence. No roof. No window. But something deeper had been released there. A voice that would not die. Part 4. The last sound she heard. 2 weeks later. Poland. Refugee center in Zamosk. Mykhailo sat across from the woman with the recorder. You're the one with the letter, she asked. He nodded. She pressed play. She wanted to hear Helena's voice again. But he didn't need to. Do you want to share her voice? She asked. No, he said. I want to carry it. Months later, in Krakow, at a small exhibit called Whispers from the Edge. A shattered blue cup was on display, glued back together. The plaque beneath it read. She spoke. He listened. And because of that, she still echoes. Back in Stary Lyman, long after the war had shifted and the people returned. A little girl ran into the weeds behind a forgotten house. Mama! There's a flower here. In the frost-cracked earth. A single sunflower. Bright. Alive. And buried beside it. A shard of blue ceramic.